So, what do you call this stitch? Let me know in the comment section. Hey y'all, I hope you're doing well. So today I have another fun tutorial for you. This is called the moss stitch. I've heard it called the linen stitch, the granite stitch, the woven stitch. Whatever the stitch name is, this is a really pretty, fun pattern. It does work up really quickly. It has a nice drape when it's finished. I like the way it looks kind of woven together. Really pretty. You can switch colors, keep it all the same. I'll show you how to make this moss stitch. Now, I will be honest with you, I have seen this done in a myriad of ways, many different ways. But hopefully the way I show it, if you've tried it before, couldn't catch on, maybe you can catch on here, okay? And I'm gonna stay on camera quite a bit here. So it's like a 15-minute video, but I wanted you to try to get it, okay? So first things first is you're going to make yourself a slip knot, and I'm using a regular 4-weight yarn. You can use any yarn you like. Just make sure you get a corresponding crochet hook. In my case, I'm using a 5mm. Once you have your slip knot created, go ahead and make yourself a chain in an even number, okay? So this is 3. The yarn split a little bit there, but we're at 4, 5, and just continue going until you get to the desired number that you need for your project. I'm doing 18 only because I'm doing a little small swatch so that you can get the project down, but an even number. Again, this pattern is so nice. You can use it in scarves, you can use it in blankets, baby blankets. So you just need to customize it to whatever size you need. Once you have your foundation chain completed, you are going to count over to the 4th stitch. So don't count the loop on your crochet hook. Don't do that. Count over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. In that 4th space, you are going to place a single crochet stitch. Single crochet is just inserting the crochet hook, pulling back through the loop. You'll have 2 loops on your crochet hook, yarn over, and then pull through 2. At this point, you're going to chain 1. Chain 1 is just wrapping the yarn around your crochet hook and pulling through. You're going to skip a stitch, skip a space, and in the next available space, you're going to place your crochet hook and do another single crochet stitch, just like you see here on the screen. All right, chain 1, skip a space, and then repeat doing a single crochet stitch in that next space. And this is how you're setting up the foundation of your moss stitch, okay? So you're going to continue doing this all the way down the row until you get to the very last stitch, and there you'll put a single crochet, but just keep working, and I'll work with you for a little bit longer on this, so that way you can make sure you get it. See there? Again, every time you do a single crochet, you want to make sure you do a chain. You're going to skip a stitch, and in the next available, you're going to do another single crochet stitch. So you do need to be comfortable doing a single crochet stitch, excuse me, for this project, but you can catch on here. If not, you can always check my tutorials on my channel. I do have a slower version of pretty much every stitch that I have, that we make, okay? Alrighty, we're wrapping up here. We're getting close to the end. You'll have 1 space to skip. I'm trying to show it to you there. Alright, at the end here, you'll have 1 space and then 1 at the end. If you got it right, this is how you'll end. You'll be able to put 1 single crochet stitch in the end. Okay, that's how you know you got your foundation chain correct. At this point, you're going to want to make a chain of 2 and then turn your work. All right, now guys, here we go. This is where it can get a little tricky just because you need to get your spaces correctly, and I'm going to try to show this to you. If you don't catch on right here, guys, you will be able to catch on. I'm going to do it a lot of times. So that very first space right there, we are ignoring that. Do not put your stitch there, okay? You're going to go into this, not there, but into the next available stitch, which is essentially your chain space. You're going to do a single crochet stitch. So I really want you to catch this. That's the trickiest part. You want to get that single crochet in that space. Chain 1. Okay, so here we go. You'll see your single crochet stitches. Basically, it's made up of 2 little loops right there. You see them? In that space next to the single crochet stitch, the 2 loops right there, that's where you're going to put your next single crochet stitch. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to call these little loops friends. You're going to keep those friends together. So when you're working down the row, you want to make sure that you see 2 loops next to each other, and then in the space after that, that's where you'll do your single crochet. Always do a chain of 1 and then find your next space. Okay, so right there's your 2 loops that are going to stay together. In the space right where my thumb is, you're going to do your single crochet. If you pull it apart, you'll see a little hole. That's what you don't need to worry about. In this case, keep your stitches together and then work in the hole next to it. This part right here, to me, guys, I felt like that was the most trickiest part, is just to see where I actually put my crochet hook. Once you get this down, and I tell you, after you do this probably about the 3rd row, you'll see it. It'll be very clear. Sometimes that very 2nd row, it's not as clear, but it will get clearer, guys. So I'm going to show you a lot of times just so that you see what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so you have 2 little loops there. That's technically your single crochet stitch. You are going to want to put your stitch next to that. Do you see? So if you leave your work kind of together, you don't really see a hole. If you pull your work apart a little bit, you see a hole. Don't stick it in the hole that you see. Don't insert your crochet hook in the hole that you see. You want to do it next to that space. So essentially what you're doing is you're skipping a stitch along the way. My goal is not to over-explain this, but I do want you to see what I'm talking about. So right here we're at the end of the row, just go ahead and put a single crochet stitch in the very last stitch. Okay. Perfect, and chain 2. This is what it's going to look like though. And right now I'm using a solid color. When I change colors, which will be a little bit longer off into the video, you'll see it a little bit better, okay? Chain 2, turn your work. Here we go again, okay? So right there, you're not going to put a single crochet. In the next available space after that initial one you see, you're going to do a single crochet stitch. So as you can see right here, your 2 loops are together. You don't want to separate your loops, okay, guys? So in the hole next to the 2 loops is where you're going to put your single crochet stitch. Chain 1. Okay, and then find your next to that space right there. Yep. Perfect. See the 2 little loops together? That's your indicator. I guess that's the easiest way for me to show it to you. But as you're working this though, you'll feel it and you'll see it. But if you're, if you can't see it, kind of put your work down a little bit and see if you can see 2 kind of loops next to each other. That's where you'll put your single crochet stitch next to that in the next available space. So not in between those. You want to make sure you keep them together. They're friends. They don't want to be separated. So see how these 2 right here together? Don't put a single crochet stitch in between those 2. No, they want to be friends. So next to them though, there's a space for your crochet hook. My little needle fell, but you get the point. Chain 1, and then you're going to continue doing that all the way down. Your friends are there together, right next to it. And then at the very end there's nowhere to put, there's no hole next to it, so just go right into the chain 2. That's going to keep your sides nice and even, really pretty. See how that's shaping up? Chain 2. you know what? I'm going to show you again. I'm going to show you again because that's what got me when I was trying to catch this stitch. I was like, man, everyone I've seen ever do this and every pattern I use, they kind of just stop. I want to keep going. So we're into round 4. Chain 2, and then you're going to go right next to your single crochet space. It's thundering here, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the distance. It's a nice rainy day. Okay. And I'm just working it at this point because I want you to see that it really does work quickly. You just have to get comfortable finding that initial, where do I put my crochet hook? Once you have that, this pattern is really neat. It really does. It looks really nice, very nicely woven fabric that still has good drape. And you can do this with any size yarn using any corresponding crochet hook. Okay, I did one more row off camera just so I can build it up just a little bit more, but now I'm going to come back and show you how to actually change the yarn. So right here is where we're going to actually do a yarn color change, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so when you get to the very end of the row, instead of you completing a full single crochet stitch, see like that, you're not going to do that. You're going to go ahead and make the first part of your single crochet stitch, put your new yarn on, and then pull through to finish off your single crochet stitch. So I talk fast, but if you watch and try it, you'll catch on to that. Okay, chain 2 and then turn your work, and then at this point you're just going to keep working the pattern, and you can change your yarn as often as you want. I'm doing mine in a chunk pattern, but you don't have to change your yarn at all. It's up to you. I think that when you change the yarn though, you'll get to see the pattern a little bit better, but the texture is still there if you don't change the yarn color, and it's still very, very pretty. Okay. Again, you're keeping those 2 loops together. There. And I'm really just showing you in this point, because you've done this now for a minute, I'm showing you how to change the yarn color. But also, once I get down the row a little bit further, you'll be able to see those 2 loops that I was talking about, that single crochet stitch. You'll be able to see that a lot better in the change color. So that's the reason I'm still staying on camera, because once I finish this row, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about, I hope. Okay. Now we're about 13 minutes in, so we've done this quite a bit now on camera. I think what I'm going to do is stay on camera just a little bit longer, doing this for another row in this beige color, just in case you can see it better with a different color yarn. And then I'm going to do at the very, very end of this video, I'll put a very slow version of it, just maybe so you can catch it if you don't catch it here, okay? Again, you're going to do your single crochet stitch in the space next to your chain of 2. See there? You can see the 2 loops that I've been talking about this whole time really clearly with this beige yarn, contrasting against the pink. Do you see the 2 loops? All right, guys. So that's pretty much the pattern. You'll just continue doing this until you get to your desired width or length, and then that's it. I'm going to, at this point, I think you caught on. It's been about 14 minutes or so, but I am going to do one more last stitch effort to make sure you get this stitch. I'm going to put it in all slow motion right now. If you want to see it one more time going slower, stay tuned. If not, you are finished. Get started. Have fun with this pattern, but go ahead and watch it one more time if you need to in the slower motion. There you go. y'all, if you're still here, I just wanted to pop back in and say thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.